They say that life is what you make of it. In my opinion, life is made of simple moments. Often the moments we cherish most in life are the late night campfires with your best friend, doing something you knew you absolutely shouldn't but have never regretted, or the very first time that you fell in love. And oftentimes, these simple moments are so impactful that they laid the very foundation in which we live our lives today. Yet, as life only gets busier and more complicated, we often forget to slow down, reflect, and appreciate all of the small moments that have created who we are. And today marks a 2-year anniversary of one of these very moments in my life. And while it was one of the most difficult periods I've ever had to go through, the lessons that it taught me was invaluable. This is my story on how I discovered a slow and simple lifestyle. If you were to ask me to describe my childhood in one word, it would be simple. When you are young, everything is a celebration. Your drawings are hung on the wall like it's a masterpiece. You write a simple sentence and you are treated like you're going to be a New York Times bestseller. Even you walking outside playing in the grass is documented like it's a movie. Why are the simple moments no longer celebrated as an adult? I always loved drawing, telling stories, and using my imagination. Why is the response always, you can't make money doing that? I went to a Montessori school until I was in 5th grade, and this was a time where creativity and just being your own unique self was celebrated. It was just the way that you lived life. You didn't have lunch breaks, you just ate when you were hungry. You didn't feel embarrassed to raise your hand, you were actually encouraged to do so. You didn't go home to figure out how to do the homework, you did it with your teachers. Why do we pressure a young mind to conform to the fears of society? If you asked me to describe my adolescent years in one word, it would be chaos. There was not a time in public school that I did not hate who I was. I was upset at myself for wanting to draw. I certainly got made fun of enough for doodling during class. I was upset at myself for how quiet I was. I certainly was called boring, uninteresting, and shy enough. I was beyond upset for the simple fact that I just saw life differently. Well, I certainly felt alone. Why couldn't I just be like everybody else? During your adolescent years, the most important part is what your peers think of you. Life became what kind of name brand clothes I was always wearing. Not only are you playing a sport, did you make the team, but are you starting on the team? The talks in 8th grade was what college you were going to go to. And what you absolutely could not do was actually share what you truly thought or what you actually wanted to do. Because the biggest fear was rejection. What if someone didn't agree with you? Why is the first question always, how's work going? And not, how are we doing? And unfortunately, the words that I was telling myself and what I was thinking, I'm too embarrassed to even say out loud. I ultimately truly thought, if I become attractive enough, then someone will love me. Then maybe I will be worth something. When ultimately, the only worth came from what some stranger would say about me. I thought, if only I was making more money. What is more money? If only I could become an adult, have a high-paying job, my dream car, a massive house, the love of my life. Then maybe, and just maybe, then could I love myself. Maybe then life could become simple. November 4th, 2021. I experienced my first panic attack, which led to 2 straight months of severe anxiety. Why is discussing mental health seen as a sign of weakness? Why am I forever looked at differently? And these were the darkest and most difficult times I have ever experienced. I was completely off of social media. I could no longer really watch TV, exercise. I could hardly eat, hardly go into work. Really everything that I was had completely vanished. The definition of anxiety is apprehension, tension, or uneasiness that stems from the anticipation of danger, which may be internal or external. And I would say that that is the exact definition in which I had been living my life for years. I was running away from the person I wanted to be in pursuit of who I thought I should be. And ultimately, all I had done was abandon the little boy that loved to lay in the grass and watch the clouds go by. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. I would have traded every single dollar I had just in an attempt to feel normal again. No dream car, no dream house, no anything that I had built my identity off of in pursuit of was going to fix this problem. So what could? Right before Christmas, I discovered 2 YouTube channels, one called Mav and the other one called Living Big in a Tiny House. The premise of both channels is intentionally living your life, to find joy in the simple moments, to carve out the life you wanted to live with the principle that you are enough, you are worthy. And it's crazy just how hard we try to avoid these very simple facts. I am enough. I am worthy. On December 27th, 2021, I experienced my first day without anxiety. And I am very grateful to say that I still have not experienced another moment of anxiety. Anxiety is truly one of the greatest gifts that I have ever received. I had spent so many years of my life building a foundation and a structure made entirely out of glass. I was tiptoeing around my life, running away from the fact that everyone could see straight through what I had built. Anxiety was like the wrecking ball that entirely destroyed everything, allowing me to see the life that I was living, where it was that I was going, and that was not true to who I was. It gave me another chance to be able to build a foundation entirely in the direction that I wanted to live, to be able to achieve the dream that I had as that little boy, to be able to rid people's suffering in some sort of way. But I had to do it with myself first. I had to realize that I am enough. I am worthy. Nothing else in the world is going to be able to grant that. I had to find it within myself. It allowed me to realize that all of those negative things that happened in my life all intentionally happened. It was all with a purpose because it allowed me to get to where I am today. Has let me realize that anytime something happens that I have an emotional response to, or I feel like, of course this happens, or my life sucks, or whatever those thoughts that just instantly pops into your mind that you don't even know why that happens, it quickly goes away because it's all a part of what it is that you are living. And that is simply just your life. And I didn't want this video to be like me just telling my sad story or whatever the case is. I think the fundamental principles of everything that I discussed is very similar to, in some way, the life that you were living or your childhood. And I really just wanted to highlight the fact of, no matter what it is that other people say, it's never going to be as impactful as the words you were saying to yourself. Because whenever you know that you are enough, all the other comments are just distractions. They're just their opinions. And you can realize that they are hurting just as bad as you once were as well. Living a slow and simple life has really allowed me to be able to just set an intention to truly give myself the best opportunity to make this life a little bit different, because things feel very chaotic. But as long as I feel safe and secure within myself, I think that there's so much light and opportunity to be able to give good a fighting chance. So why do we need to justify a slow and simple life? It is simply just living.